Good evening. It's Manic Monday. And Trevor, we're going to try to control Trevor so his head doesn't explode.
Oh, it's going to explode.
We've not been going on WTF Wednesday, and we're coming on Mondays instead. I don't know why. It's just something we decided to do in the midst of all the SBA chaos. But Trevor attended a webinar last week, so we're going to
an SBA
webinar. So we're going to dissect some of the essentials.
That's when my head explodes.
And some of the things that seem in contrast and the inconsistencies continue. So we're going to kind of get into some nuts and bolts with that. So hang out with us.
It's going to be nuts. It's going to be completely crazy. Oh, and we'll have some really good advice to share with you too about 4506T.
Yes.
And also about reallocation of EIDL funds. So we got a couple of things to cover with y'all tonight while I put us up on the big screen over here in the den.
Yeah. So Christopher, I hope you're in the right place. Did you intend to click and be here? Because if so, then you are in the right place.
Okay. Am I at the right place?
Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Improved 2021. Okay. So I've got banners, but how do you want to kick off with the SBA webinar? Do you want to just kind of address the biggest, weirdest, nonsensical thing that you heard last week?
You just described the entire webinar.
Yeah, but I heard him from the other room, and this is what he was saying. That's not right. No, that's what is she talking about? That's not true. So take it off. Take it away.
So SBA has been for the last week or so, 10 days. Hey, Erica. We're going to talk about you tonight, Erica. Yes, we are. We're going to, so SBA has been doing these webinars the last, I don't know, July 27th. Is when they started the webinars, and it's continuing through this week. And so I tuned in on Thursday, and there was a senior SBA administrator. So for the first 30 minutes of the webinar, she's talking about SBA processing. The second 30 minutes, it's a complete meltdown. So let's start with the meltdown part.
Start with the meltdown.
It's a complete meltdown because the host, the moderator, who's from a non-for-profit group, is overwhelmed with the over 1,000 questions that they got. And most all of those questions were the kind of stuff that you all ask us on our show here about reconsiderations, about I was applying for an increase and it was declined. What should I do? And what if my credit score is this? And what if, this happened with my tax return and transcripts and 4506T. And essentially, the SBA administrator couldn't answer any of these questions with anything that even approaches accuracy. Like, it was all these very generic template type of answers. Well, what you do is, you go into the portal and then, or you send an email, and it was clear from my watching the second 30 minutes and some things she said in the first 30 minutes of the webinar that this woman is not even familiar with the SBA's EIDL application.
Can I interrupt with what the biggest thing was?
The biggest thing
that wasn't discussed. Can we get there?
Everything.
About the letter.
All she talked about, all the SBA wants to talk about, and this is classic SBA messaging, they talk about their successes. But they don't talk about the kind of things that you folks come to us about here on our show or on our 15-minute phone calls, the kind of things that you are desperately seeking information about all around YouTube and the internet. The SBA doesn't address those things. The webinar should have been, okay, we know a lot of you have been declined, and so what you should do is this, and this, and this, and if this happens, do this. And Simon says, do that. Instead, the first 30 minutes was, SBA, hey, look at what we did. So what we did was we took the increase files, increase. That means only increase files. People who in April 6th and April 27th, whatever, requested an increase for their loan, which excludes original EIDL applications, because there are people, I talked to somebody today, people who are still applying or questioning about applying for an original EIDL who didn't do it. Declined EIDLs for reconsideration. No, that's not what they're talking about. Increased loans. So what SBA wants you all to know is what massive efforts they've made.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not taking away from the SBA doing this good work. Yay. They've assigned all the increased files over from the disaster loan division to the Office of Capital Assessment or something like that, which is populated with a much larger staff, much more experienced loan officer staff. And they said, you know, she had some statistics. SBA loan officers were doing 1.68 or 1.86, I forget, applications a day, which, by the way, is completely nuts. And I'll tell you why in a second. And now they're doing, since the end of June, since we reallocated over this other division. Sorry, I didn't mean to put my hand in front of your face.
It's okay.
She's so pretty.
I'm just here.
By the way,
just here taking it all.
Y'all don't even know the stank of hairspray that is choking me right now while I'm talking. Yes. This thing here.
Hey, this is the only reason I have to get dressed, is to be live with everybody.
No kidding. So they've gone from 1.8, less than 2 applications a day for an SBA loan officer, to 15 applications a day. And they're blowing their horn about, hey, you know, since we made this changeover at the end of June, we processed 300,000 increase requests, and we will have the other 600,000 increase requests finished by the middle of August. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time, there's no comment about the hundreds of thousands of declined files, either previously declined for insufficient, you know, unacceptable credit, unverifiable information, economic injury unsubstantiated, you're not eligible, failure of character. Okay.
Oh yeah,
all this, the people that, you know, basically that we work on, not a word about that, and not a single word about all of you who were declined in the tidal wave of 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not a word, which is why we came on tonight to remind you what we have been saying since that first week, which is, and that, I think that was the first time we went live on a Monday.
We went
was
live
because of the tidal wave.
The week before, it was a Wednesday or Thursday, and then we went live on Monday because we didn't want to wait for WTF Wednesday. And thus that started out. This is like our third Monday.
And what we've been saying since the tidal wave of declinations, tens of thousands, if not, you know, more, of increased requests that were declined out of hand, all in the space of a Tuesday through a Saturday or Sunday. We've been saying all you can do is file a reconsideration.
Yeah.
That's the mechanism.
So the show's over. That's
show's
it.
over.
That's
and
it.
Hire us to do it for you, by the way.
Okay.
No, I'm not really being facetious or sarcastic.
Mm-hmm.
The more folks I speak to who are exhausted with the process. I mean, today was Monday's a free phone call day here at Aurora Consulting. I did something like 18 phone calls today. Except for the guy who said we drink too much coffee.
Yeah. And we send too many emails. It's like,
yeah, he said,
sorry, we were reminding you.
Do you folks drink a lot of coffee? Because that's an awful lot of emails.
It's all right.
I'm sorry. We're sending you emails to help you with our free phone call.
It's okay.
Okay. Anyway, so the more I speak to folks here on the show and on our free calls, the more I realize that it's nearly impossible for the average small business owner to navigate. I know Dr. Patricia Shaw comes on here and says, hey, thanks to Lyndon, Ray, and Trevor's advice, I got approved. But I think the average small business owner just really needs to hire a professional. And one last note about professional before I hand it back to Linda is this. There's a company out there. The name of the company begins with an H. They're located in New York City, and they are aggressively cold calling your small business and saying, you're pre-qualified.
That's not so.
By the way, not so. And we will do it for a percentage.
Not possible. It's illegal.
Not allowed as per the SBA guidelines. So therefore, it is illegal.
And then what do they do?
Oh, and then, so I spoke to somebody today who's not the first person I've spoken to who is engaged with these clowns. And he says, well, the person I was working with left the company. And now when I call, nobody can give me a status. But they keep trying to get me to take a bridge loan.
Yeah.
They said, well, we can get this EIDL done for you in 15 days. But you first have to take the bridge loan so that you can show the SBA how desperately you need the money. And by the way, the VIG, you know, you all know, if you watch The Sopranos, you know what the VIG is. It's the interest rate on these loans is disgracefully criminal.
Please be careful if you've lost your patience and you have people that are bombarding you with potential solutions to ease the pain of what's going on.
They just want to take your money.
Please be careful. There's no percentages. Don't
it's
fall
a flat
for the
fee.
Don't fall for the cross-selling of other loan products. You know, we know in the beginning there were people who were trying to sell you a loan to pay the fee they were charging, which by the way,
I forgot about that one.
Which by the way, the fee was a percentage of the loan they were trying to get for you, which is illegal. It's a flat fee. Okay.
Yeah. There's
Not
all kinds of criminal activity.
So be careful.
To be clear, a consultant can charge a maximum flat fee of $2,500, no junk fees, no percentages, no commissions. They cannot guarantee a result. The SBA requires us to disclose to you that our fee is not contingent on a result. That means if you're approved or not, the consultant gets paid. Okay? And you cannot pay the consultant out of the proceeds of the loan.
Yep. See, Susan knows. Susan knows she's getting calls.
Well, Susan, if you got a PPP loan, it's public record.
That shit is out there.
If you got an EIDL loan, it's public record. So that's where and frankly, where are they getting it? I mean, Google. I mean, it's not hard to look up. And there's all kinds of, by the way, you know how I'm always blowing my brains out here on the show about credit repair scams and credit restoration, and stop looking at your credit scores every 10 minutes. Okay. Because those consumer credit apps are crap, and those scores do not reflect real credit scores. So do you know when every time you check your credit score every 17 seconds, do you know what you're doing? You're giving the app data.
Yeah.
And the app, Susan, is collecting data on you.
You know what?
And every time you click on an ad for a bridge loan, she just kicked me under the table.
Or if you actually think about a pair of shoes you want to buy, and then you're online, and that company that sells those shoes, they have an ad. It's like really strange. I know that maybe you think, well, I probably clicked on it somewhere, but I really think that they have implanted devices when we think about products we want to buy.
You've been inhaling too much hairspray.
I was, but it's funny.
She's a little goofy. You got to admit,
because
this is right after the hairspray. I'm just talking out loud.
You think about something you want to buy, and then there's an ad popping up on wherever you were. So anyway, all right.
Just wanted you all to know right now, as soon as Linda said, think of something you want to buy, not that it's not anything I want to buy, but I'm just want to tell you, the name Scarlett Johansson went right into my head.
All right, so
Scarlett Johansson.
I listen, I know that you want to have your brains explode everywhere here, but we're not going to do that. Let's get into a couple.
I want to go back to the SBA administrator to finish up my brains exploding about the SBA webinar.
And then let's get to some Q&A.
Oh, no. Then I want to talk about the U.S. Marine Corps loan officer that I spoke to on Friday.
Okay, but then I want to get to Q&A.
Okay.
Stat.
Then we get to Q&A, and then we'll get to our Wealth and Hellness segment. So we're introducing a segment on tonight's show called Wealth and Hellness, which is part of our Simple Sense for Small Business podcast on our other channel, where in that segment on Simple Sense, we kind of help talk business owners back off the ledge. And tonight we're going to do Wealth and Hellness here for all of you about the 4506T form and why it is my firm professional opinion that the reason y'all are getting told by the SBA that the transcripts are coming back 0, no record found, is because the 4506T is wrong.
Yes.
9 out of 10 times.
9 out of 10
guarantee it. But okay, I want to finish about my webinar experience with the SBA. So it is clear from the first 30 minutes of last week's 60-minute. I told you before, in the second 30 minutes, the questions were all about reconsiderations, and she really didn't know how to handle those questions. They were all vague, ambiguous, generic answers. The first 30 minutes was almost a bad, maybe it's worse. I don't know. It is clear that this person, this SBA administrator, has never even looked at the EIDL application.
That's a problem.
Here's one of the things.
How are you bragging about success?
Here's one of the things she said. She said, well, they put it up on a slide. Here's the formula. So they gave the formula, by the way, and they gave the credit score. 570 credit score. And the formula, which is gross receipts minus cost of goods sold equals gross profit times 2, which is 24 months of working capital. Okay. So she says two things that'll blow your mind. She goes, well, so what you want to do is you want to do that calculation based on your 2019 tax return. And this way you know the amount that you could be approved for. And that's what you, when you file your application, that's what you do. You put that in on the application. Do you know why that's wrong? You weren't listening.
No, I wasn't. I was looking at Gregory Miller
all day long, not listening to me.
I know.
We'll
get to you, Gregory.
Do you know why that is such a messed up, brain exploding off of Trevor's head? It's because when you file an EIDL application, you don't get to ask the SBA for it. This is not a mortgage where you say to the mortgage person, hey, Linda, I'm buying a house for $400,000. Can you tell me the difference in my monthly payment if I put 10% down or 5% down? And then I'll decide how much of a loan I want to apply for. That's not how the EIDL application works. You put in gross revenue and cost of goods sold, and the SBA tells you what you're eligible for. So this administrator clearly is unfamiliar with the EIDL application, but worse, she, just like apparently everybody else that works at the SBA, does not acknowledge that the EIDL application, including right now, if you go to SBA.gov and look at the application, it says, put in your gross revenue cost of goods sold for the 12-month period prior to the disaster ending on January 31st, 2020, which is not the same as the 12-month period on your tax return for 2019.
Okay, is this the part where the
brain exploding?
Brain matter?
Whoa, hold on. Here's what else she says. Okay, here's what else she says. So it's a 570 credit score. She doesn't mention anything about the second stimulus legislation passed by Congress on December 27th, which says in the absence of a sufficient credit score, the SBA will use other means to assess the borrower's ability to repay the loan, to approve the loan.
Yes.
Okay, so Congress gave the SBA, all right, and we're going to talk about that with the Marine Corps loan officer in a second, but so this SBA administrator says the score is 570, as if that's it. There's no room for negotiation, which is false, by the way. Based on real interactions I have had with SBA loan officers who are working on trying to approve files with lower than 570 credit scores. Okay?
Our biggest success story, his increase was just approved today.
5 hours ago.
It was $216,000.
216,600.
$216,600. And this is a gentleman who had stalked us on YouTube last year, and he signed up. He was approved for $55,000 after fighting since July of 2020. And he had a 525 credit score. 525
or 526, I don't remember. We got him approved the day after Christmas.
Yes.
And
it was a big.
Today we got him approved for his increase, his loan modification. So again, so this SBA administrator, she says this credit score is a 570. As if that's not bad enough that she's completely clueless about the other aspects of credit review in the EIDL application process. She says the following.
Here we go.
So she says, you know what you do? Look up your credit score. And then if your credit score is not 570, which, by the way, those credit scores, the crap you get on these things is not a real credit score, which means you don't even really know if it says 570 here, what it really is going to be at the SBA. But so she's completely out of touch with the reality of credit scores. Number one, this is your Small Business Administration, folks. Credit analysis, okay? But number two, she says, what you want to do, hold on, I got to get closer to the microphone because you're going to love this. You know what she said? She says, what you want to do is is if your score's not at 570, work on improving your credit. Pay off the stuff that has to be paid off, and work on improving your credit so that you can get your score up to a 570, and then you can apply. I'm sorry. There's a thing called COVID, and there's a thing called pandemic lockdown, and businesses were closed and may still be closed or still reeling from the economic effects that business owners could not pay their bills. How do you think they're coming up with the money to pay these bills and improve their credit scores?
All right.
What?
Can we
I told all of you I spoke to on the phone, my head was going to explode. My library books over here got brain matter splattered all over them now. Linda Ray, take it away.
Well, no, I wanted to get back to the loan officer.
Water, by the way.
Well, in conjunction to the brain matter discussion here of the whole credit score issue, this is, you had a discussion with a loan officer about this very thing.
Oh, the drill sergeant.
The drill sergeant, which I didn't realize it was for the client whose credit score was lowered because of COVID, because the SBA did not provide the funding in time for the business at all, for the business owner to have the funds to then be able to pay the bills, to then not have the credit score impacted negatively. So go ahead.
All right. So Friday morning, I'm on the phone with an SBA loan officer. This gal is a U.S. Marine Corps, Paris Island drill sergeant, folks. And when I'm always telling you how I've worked with government underwriters for 30 years. This is one of those cases when I'm talking about where, some of them, they get into a box and that's it. Ain't nothing. So
I don't understand where, how are they still not trained?
Well, first of all, to her credit, so the applicant's credit score is 460 as per the SBA. Now, when I ran the credit, it was 537 or something when I ran the credit. It's not 460, but whatever. It probably got worse because the business owner desperately needs the money. The business owner applied, as you all did, in May and June of last year and was declined and never received funds. And so while I'm speaking to the drill sergeant, I pop up on my desktop on my computer the client's credit report. And again, we run real credit reports here, or consulting with real scores. And I'm looking at the credit history. And what do I see? You all know what I saw. I see that prior to COVID, this business owner has an immaculate credit history. And then when COVID hits, you can see all the late payments piling up in the months as COVID moves forward. And so to her credit, the loan officer says, well, I did a cash flow analysis. So she's using the 2019 Schedule C tax return, which is a negative number. It's a minus number. And she's plugging that number in. She says, we have a spreadsheet here at the SBA. So she says, so I plug that number in. Then I take the debts from 2202, SBA Form 22, and I plug that number in. Then I take the debts off of the credit report, the personal credit report, and I plug that number in. And we do that on an annualized basis. And it has to hit a certain number on the spreadsheet, and this number doesn't qualify. And I said, well, are you taking into account the fact that you're offering this business owner 24 months of working capital that will help her get back on her feet, which will turn her business into a business that generates revenue that can make the payments, which, by the way, the payments are not due until 2022. This drill sergeant is looking, and keep in mind, folks, she's not the only one the SBA is looking at it this way. As if, this is a 30-year loan, and how are they going to pay the 30-year loan based on their 2019 tax return?
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So there's a box, and they don't know how to think outside of said box.
Listen to Linda Ray.
Well, the other thing, too, I think that...
My God, that face I made looks really horrible on the big TV. Can you play that back?
No. So one of the things that I think fuels the anxiety and frustration with business owners through this process is there's all this news about supposedly things that would seem positive and helpful and helping to move in the right direction versus the utter mayhem and bedlam that's been going on for business owners. So everyone gravitates to this news, and sometimes it's speculative.
It's always speculative.
Sometimes
except here.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not really happening because it's either
not helpful.
It's not signed into law, or it's you know, right? So
wait. What?
Well,
are you actually? Wait a minute.
What?
Are you actually throwing some other YouTubers under the bus?
No.
Oh, yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. No, yeah, you are.
No,
and you know who, too.
No, let me.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, this
R2.
is
R2.
This is where this is
R2.
coming from. It's even.
And I don't mean D2.
Please. This is where this is coming from, because even the SBA with these webinars, as an example, they will tell you all of these things that are happening that are supposed to be positive so that business owners, you know, I don't know if their motivation is so that you can have hope, because who has, raise your hand if you lost some hope, right? You wouldn't be watching us right now.
Not me. I haven't lost any.
So, but they try to share all of this positive news of the things that they're talking about doing, maybe, but what they haven't fixed. So that's where this is coming from. For me, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. What I'm
You did a good job of it, though.
Well, I'm just trying to say that people are, sometimes you're focusing on not the thing that's going to move the loan.
I'm going to call it clickbait. Whether it's a news article or a fake news article or a social media post or a YouTube post. There are people out there who are sensationalizing certain headlines.
Thank you, Susan.
Solely for the reason of getting you to subscribe so they can make money off of your clicks. That is not what we are here about at this channel or on Aurora Consulting. From day one, we set out to become a trusted resource, because I knew from my experience in the mortgage business while the global meltdown was happening, 2008 through 2010, all the sharks, all the scammers are going to come out with false dreams and false hope, like the fake consultant we mentioned earlier in the show who's charging a commission. Okay, it's illegal. And the latest sensational news is I've had now twice today people reach out. One is a client, one was one of our free calls, saying, "Oh, I heard that in the new infrastructure plan, they've passed, they put in an amendment that they're going to take all the unused EIDL money and use that to pay for infrastructure."
Yeah.
Okay. That's not true. It's not true. Do you know why it's not true? Because the infrastructure bill is not law yet. It's the first step in a negotiating process. This is how the Congress works. And so we saw this with the CARES Act in the spring of 2020 while COVID was erupting, and everybody was speculating, including these clickbait folks. This is what's in the PPP. This is what CARES Act. This is what it is. You're going to get this. This is going to do this. Going to do that. But you know what? We kept saying to people, why don't we wait till the law actually passes and we can read the law? Because in my experience of doing federal government loans for 30 years, what is proposed and what becomes reality are very different things more often than not. And we were right about that with the CARES Act. We were right about that with the second stimulus, because this crap happened all over again in the autumn of 2020 with the second stimulus package being negotiated. And everybody was clickbaiting on, oh, this is happening and that's going to happen. They're going to take this away.
All right.
And they're doing.
Let's get to Q&A. Stop. Listen, you know, the first 30 minutes, sometimes we're ranting and raving about not great stuff. So, but the fun part for me is the Q&A.
I want to talk about.
That's why people come here. They want
hope.
Let's do the Q&A.
Hope. Let's talk about hope. Let me say this to you, what I said to somebody on the phone just a few minutes ago. Folks,
call staff.
The one thing I know about federal government programs is the Congress created the program with the intention of putting the money into the hands of the American taxpayer who wishes to borrow it. If you are patient and persistent with the process, you will be successful. Our clients have received in the last 7 weeks
It's almost $7.5 million. I mean,
in approvals and fundings.
yeah, we have a couple of people that are we put the eligibility in, so it really
I don't count eligibility.
I know, but it's
I'm talking about real approvals.
Okay.
So our clients are averaging here on reconsiderations and increased requests, $7 million.
Okay.
In 7 weeks, which is about $1 million a week.
Please.
Okay. So that's why I want you to know
it's possible
that it is possible. You will be successful. Okay.
All right,
Susan.
Here's a new one, or maybe got approved last week. Awesome. That's awesome.
All right. Did you sign closing documents?
Based on, so yeah, that would be next. You would be closed.
I don't. What's the part, Susan?
She probably is wondering.
By the way, cool hat.
Yeah,
it's a cool hat you're wearing there, Susan.
Let's see. Here's how can I check my funding time? Oh, I read it. It doesn't seem private. But will it hold up my deposit?
All right,
she signed the doc.
CA Web is a federal government monitoring portal, so you can. It's the capital access. I don't know what it means, but it's legit, Susan. CA Web is legit. So the United States government, it lets you see all of your government loans and the status of those loans.
Well, okay. When did you get approved and signed? Because it usually takes about 5 days.
No, you keep, you said that to Ricardo before.
Because it's been,
that sounds like some clickbait shit.
No,
right there. It is not 5 days. Okay. It is anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks.
Okay.
To get funded.
Okay. All right, let's move on. I think
Dan Harrelson, book a free consultation call. We would love you to hire us, but we just simply don't just take people's money. We actually want to verify on a brief conversation with you if you need to hire us, number one, and if we feel we have a reasonable chance of success for your situation. So Linda will post the link, book a call for a free 15-minute consultation.
Okay, Gregory, finally the SBA said they received, okay, I need to send in now my 4506T. One thing I'll say this about your 4506T, do not let them complete it for you.
Oh, okay. Okay, stop.
What?
Because poor Gregory. Okay, Greg, stop what you're doing. Gregory, stop what you're doing. Take a piece of paper out and a pen right now. And first of all, everything you wrote here, Gregory, like delete this from your memory, from all your entire life. Everything you wrote here is like completely wrong. Except that the SBA is asking for your 4506T. Okay. Can we do the wealth and hellness segment now for Gregory?
Yes.
All right. So we wanted to do what's called the wealth and hellness segment tonight about the 4506T, Gregory. So thanks for giving me the segue, my brother. Thank you. Wealth and hellness is a segment we offer on our other podcast, on our other channel, which is Simple Sense for Small Business. Linda can send the link to you there. And that's where we talk about basic general business concepts that just to us makes complete sense. Like tomorrow, we're recording a podcast on how are you hiring people today coming out of the COVID pandemic. So Gregory, Wealth and Hellness segment, 4506T. Couple of things. Number one, never ever submit or sign on the SBA portal a 4506T that does not exactly match your 2019 tax return. Let me say it again. Never, ever, 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 ever take the Cross Bronx Expressway. Always take Bruckner Boulevard. Sorry. Wrong Wealth and Hellness segment. Never, ever, ever sign a 4506T on the SBA website or submit your own if you have not verified that the 4506T you're looking at exactly matches your 2019 tax return. Side by side, folks. This is our, if you go to our EIDL reconsideration playlist, we have a couple of videos on 4506T on how to fill it out. Number one piece of advice is side by side, because Gregory, if your CPA misspelled your name and called you Gregor, you know, your Eastern European version, or your ancient Greek Orthodox version, Gregor instead of Gregory on your tax return, guess what you have to write in the 4506T, Gregory? You have to write Gregor on the top box, because if you don't, the IRS cannot find your tax transcript and it will come back no record found. I am positive that 90% or more of the tax transcripts that are being returned as no record found, or what you all call zero, from the IRS is because you all, or the SBA, even worse, are filling out the form incorrectly. I have rejected on my own for our clients here at Aurora Consulting over half a dozen, 7 or 8 or 9 in the last 2 weeks on the SBA portal that were incorrect. The SBA filled them out. In one case, they had the wrong form. On the other case, it was a personal tax return, and they didn't have the spouse's information, even though I've submitted the personal tax return 3 times. Okay. Do not sign it. And we've heard that customer service reps have told people, oh, that's okay. DocuSign the wrong form on the portal anyway, so you don't lose any time. Don't do that, because you will lose time.
Yeah.
Your loan will be declined.
Just because the SBA filled it out doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean the IRS is going to bypass. Oh, if the SBA did it and it's wrong, it doesn't, the IRS still won't be able to find it. It's not because they're like trying to be difficult, like, oh, you should get your stuff right, which you should. It's because they can't find it. If it's not filled out properly.
Take nothing away from any of our videos, take my rant, my Wealth and Hellness segment rant, Gregory, not Gregor, from this section, which is you're welcome, Gregory. Is that you have got that 4506T, ladies and gentlemen, folks, puppies and bunny rabbits. It must be 110,000% perfect.
Perfect. I have a...
Now, by the way, Gregor, if your CPA misspelled your name, so what you will do on the top of the 4506T, you will copy it exactly as it appears on your tax return. I did one last week where the name of the company ended in the word group, but the CPA put group. Group.
Was it G-R-O-U?
G-R-O-U.
Okay.
Great. It wasn't even like Groot,
no
like in the movie, you know, it was Groot. So I put Groot, but then down below where it says current name and address, guess what I put? I put group. And Gregory, that's where you would put Gregory. So if you're a CPA, and by the way, I don't care if there's a CPA now, we see it all the time, the kind of mistakes that are made on tax returns. You put the incorrect information at the top of the 4506T so the IRS can find it, but then in the box that says current name and address, that's where you put the corrected information. Okay.
So trucking with Miss T, you had commented earlier about a loan officer not getting back to you, but I seem to recall a couple weeks ago that they had asked you for the hazard insurance. I might be mistaken because I remember talking about insurance and auto insurance because you're in trucking. So
this is water.
I don't know what happened. I
don't drink vodka. So it's kind of vague, Ms. T, newest version. The version that we are currently using is dated March of 2019. And Gregory mentioned that in his post, which was yet, more mythical nonsense coming out of the mouths of untrained SBA customer service reps. Oh, by the way, folks, so 2 important things about reconsiderations. The latest is apparently for all of you who were declined in the tidal wave a couple of weeks ago, now I've heard 3 different times today, the SBA customer service reps are telling you, well, I'm sorry, ma'am, that it says unverified information. So what you want to do is send an email to pdcrecons@sba.gov and ask them what the reason was. You cannot ask them. They don't know.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Also, there's a new email address that we're seeing popping up, pdc.reconsideration@sba.gov.
Okay, we're moving on. So Ruby wants to know that she was funded, but will she eventually get your increase?
Who could hang a name on you?
So I'm not really looking to have an hour and a half show.
I'm not a big Rolling Stones fan, but I actually really like that Rolling Stones song.
So Ruby, I don't know if you saw one of our videos, the thumbnail, it says last year versus this year. If you're still with us, just let me know, unless I'm talking to the void here. Just because you got funded last year does not mean you can get an increase without doing the work and
which is documents
and having the documents substantiated with the financials of the 24 months. And things were different last year compared to this year. So I think I did see, and then you said, or am I wasting your time? No,
No, you're not wasting
You're wasting your time. You just have to go through the motions. You just have to do the work. All of this stuff, which, by the way, 4 or 5 months ago, we were talking about the myth of all of this is that there are no hacks. There's no shortcuts. If you want the money, you have to do the work, period. And the work involves not only collecting all the documents, but having those documents be accurate and not guessing and not saying, oh, you know what, I'll get that to you.
And stop reading Reddit, folks.
Yeah.
And a guy telling me this afternoon, he's like, I really need to stop reading Reddit. I heard this, I heard that. And everything here was completely wrong, except the one thing he heard on Reddit, which was legit. That's how he found us.
Yeah.
Apparently people are talking about us on Reddit. But generally speaking, a lot of that information
People were talking about us on Reddit?
Apparently, yes.
Oh, were they trashing us?
No. That's how he found us, because they said, contact these folks at Aurora Consulting.
Oh, that's nice.
So Gregory, not Gregor, also he posted in his little banner before that the SBA, that he's preparing to submit his transcripts. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot, oh, okay, Ms. T. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me address that for you in just a second. You folks, you cannot submit your own tax transcripts to the SBA.
Oh, this is a favorite.
Okay, and no, the 4506T is not going away. Linda, tell them why we now have written proof of what I've been saying all along.
Because people are filing, they're trying to get money for businesses they don't own, or that money they didn't actually earn with tax returns that aren't really theirs.
Fake tax returns.
Fake tax returns.
A former executive director of NASA. Google it. Google NASA executive director found guilty. He's going to jail for 3 years for putting a fake tax return into his EIDL file.
Evidently, you do need to be a rocket scientist to commit fraud.
All right, Miss T. So I want to thank you for bringing this up on the show, Miss T, because this is another moment where the top of my brain explodes and brain matter pops out like a volcano. So Miss T is referencing here that a paralegal is contacting her for record keeping, meaning Miss T got her EIDL loan last year or earlier this year, and they're reaching out saying, hey, we need a resolution letter that you or your business have accepted the funding, and we need your insurance for your business, right? Hey, it's really great that the SBA wants their files all neat and tidy. Hey, SBA, hey, Isabella Guzman, how about you take some of those people and put them on the desk to approve some goddamn reconsideration loans? I'm sorry, did I say that on?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Thank you, Ms. T.
Thank you. All right, so let's go back to, I'm just trying to go back to as far back to see Dan. Dan, by the way, I love your question, how to verify us. We don't have like a verify blue check mark or anything that would indicate that we are like famous, but we do have over 150 reviews of people who have talked to us and the legitimacy of our content and our consults and us as a, people who've hired us. You'll see reviews there.
Some people even say we're nice.
Yeah, we're nice.
Look at the reviews. Book an appointment, Dan.
So is I first my.
What's our next question?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't really address that here on the YouTube. Book the appointment, Dan.
Okay. So Costas SBA partial transcript. Ooh, that's.
This is the partial. So this is something I said a long time ago. The SBA actually can get what's called a partial transcript. It's an internal thing, the federal government, so apparently it's good. But by the way, Costas, just to be absolutely sure, on the other hand, I don't trust anything that an SBA representative tells me. If they tell me it's sunny outside,
we're checking the weather. We're checking the weather app.
Okay. I need to call somebody from NASA.
Do you though?
Do you though? Do you?
Maybe you shouldn't, because it might be a fake weather report.
Okay. So I was on the phone with a wonderful young man named Shannon earlier today, who he's got a bit of a nightmare story for his some business operator, like a bad tax preparer, a partner who's an idiot, et cetera, et cetera. And Shannon just wanted to verify that he was on the right track with his reconsideration. So I verified that. Marie Mo, I'm going to come to you in just a second. Anyway, so he's a restaurant owner, and I came up with the perfect description of when SBA agents tell you things compared to other people. So you're sitting at the table in Shannon's restaurant, and the server comes up while you're looking at the menus, and yeah, Miss T nailed it. They lie to you, get off the phone. Well, it's not just to get you off the phone. It's that they don't know how to tell you the truth. So here's the example, Miss T. You're gonna love it. So you're sitting at the table, and the server comes up, and she sees you look at the menu. She says, "By the way, folks, just to let you know tonight, I'm so sorry to tell you, the chef has just told me we are out of the salmon tonight. We have no salmon left. So sorry. So sorry about that." Right? Isn't that great? That's direct. It's to the point. You know exactly there's no salmon, so you can't order the salmon from the menu. Here's the SBA waitress. Comes up to the table and says, "Oh, so I just spoke to the chef, and it's possible we might be out of these salmon, but we're not really sure. He may have sent the busboy out to go fishing."
To get the fish.
And they're waiting for the dishes to be washed, and the dishes aren't washed because I think the manager sent the dishwasher over to the supermarket to see if they have salmon. So I'm not really sure what I would tell you to do is order the salmon anyway. And then if we don't have it, I'll give you the halibut.
Yeah. That's
the SBA answer from customer. And listen, it's not because these people are not well-meaning.
Yeah.
It's because the bosses of the SBA are not training them.
Okay.
In basic. So we hired a new person for our little business here to help with file management. And you know what the first thing we did with him was we trained him. I spent 2 hours on the phone with him, training him on how to answer the phone.
Yeah.
And we have a procedures manual, which we're going to review with him this week.
And everything.
It ain't complicated, SBA. Train people. Okay. I wanted to go to Marie Mo also.
Oh,
but
yeah,
Saad, I want to Saad, why do I feel like you've been on the show before? Because I love saying the name Saad. I feel like you've been on the show. Do I file the reconsideration the same way as I did before? Yes. The email address is, use two email addresses. Use pdcrecons@sba.gov and pdc.reconsideration@sba.gov.
Yeah.
Okay, Marie Mo, where's her question?
Here we go.
Also, because just Marie Mo is way better looking than Saad. No offense, Saad, but you look like an S. And Marie Mo looks like, yeah, okay. Awesome. Marie Mo looks like an official.
Just answer the question.
She looks like an influencer. Like she's got Chanel, she's got Gucci. She's heading to the south of France with Johnny Depp. She's going to the Cannes Film Festival, and it's a Bugatti that she's driving around in. And there's a guy named Herb driving her. I don't know why his name is Herb. Okay, Marie, I was denied because economic injury is not something. Am I denying this for a copy? What else can I show to loss of income? Okay, first of all, this economic injury unsubstantiated, this is a generic term, Marie. It's total horse crap. Mm-hmm. Folks, when you get the denial letter, unless the denial letter says the following two things, if it says unsatisfactory credit history or it says faulty character, okay, any other reason, ignore it. Mm-hmm. It's a slap it on there, label, get the file off my desk, ignore it. So Marie, what you're going to do,
if they don't even know how to talk to you on the phone, do you think they know how to fill out something as important as declining a loan and they can't even specify for your loan? They give you a generic, categoric, global label.
Who's fishing for the salmon? Folks, when we tell you to file a reconsideration, don't try to figure out what the SBA thinks is wrong. Look at your own paperwork.
Yeah.
Okay. Marie likes that. You drive around a Bugatti with a guy named Herb going, Marie Mo, where are we going to today? Mick Jagger's mansion? Okay, let's go.
I think that one thing I'll say too, we see a lot of stuff. Okay. We see a lot of stuff that you can't unsee. All right. And I think
she's not talking about you, Marie. She's talking about the EIDL
in
reconsideration
general,
process. And small business owners paperwork.
In general, I'm going to your point, which is a little bit of a diversion. Sorry, Marimo, but when you said business owners need to look at their own paperwork,
yeah,
I know it seems overwhelming because we hear it a lot. We're like, well, we don't even know what they want or what's wrong, or I don't know why they declined. So how am I supposed to fix it? It's like, there are clues in your paperwork with your financials and how you fill out forms, because when you fill out a form and you misspell your name or the address, that counts in a bad way. Okay. That little thing right there is going to be a problem. Number one. Number two, it's going to diminish the credibility of the presentation of your package. Okay. So, you have to be careful. So you need to look at this stuff. And the other thing is, I think everyone is so used to, besides the immediate gratification of swipe right, swipe left, and all of a sudden you have a soulmate. I think the other thing too is people think that
I met you on Facebook, by the way.
Right.
Just to be clear.
But
not swiping.
People are used to having the hand-holding courtesy. We want to make this work for you, but we don't understand it. So they're going to chase you for the information to make it happen. That's not happening here.
You must own it.
You are responsible. Period. Full
Be a
stop.
loan officer. Marie, look at your paperwork. Pretend you're the lender for a minute. When I started my mortgage career, the psycho first boss I had, and he was a psycho, but he told me something very important. He said, Trevor, and I was a banker, so we were a direct lender. He said, lend the money as if it's your own money. Marie, pretend you're the loan officer. Look at all of your paperwork. Look at your website. Does the address match your tax returns?
You all right?
The bank, I'm fine. Does tax returns, the bank statement match your driver's license? Addresses, revenue figures. What did you put on the application last year? You want to anticipate every question that'll come up in the SBA process, every challenge. What we have come to learn on working so many reconsiderations is that in the speed and the anxiety of filling out the original EIDL application, people made lots of mistakes. We came to realize this because I filed 40 EIDL applications in the spring of 2020, and I had 100% approval ratio.
Yes, 100. Let me just focus on one thing too. Besides the 100% approval rate on doing the original loans here, we're not, our experience with the EIDL has been for the last almost year and a half. But when we first started, we didn't even know what EIDL was. And so we had to learn. So the fact that we did them correctly on the first go around, it's possible for everybody else too, because we didn't even know what EIDL stood for, much less that it was available, for natural disasters, and then it being available for COVID as a declared
One of
disaster.
our clients in our financing, because our financing practice disappeared because of COVID, because the bank stopped lending, and one of those clients asked us to do it. So the other thing we came to realize sometime in May of this year, with the increase request, is what I noticed. And I came to Linda one day. I said, this is astounding. Those of our clients who had been touched or been contacted by an SBA loan officer for their increase request, you know what happened with their files?
Yeah.
Flew through the system. No grief, no agita. I only had to have one conversation with a loan officer who wasn't trained by the SBA correctly, and he was disputing my cost of goods sold because I had put in the accurate number for the 12-month period ending January 31st, 2020. That's the only one. Everyone else flew through it. And all of the other clients who haven't heard yet, out of our original 40 clients that request increases, nobody's been declined. Not one. Because I took my time and filled out the applications correctly. So Marie and folks like you, as you're filing your reconsideration, step back. Take the appropriate amount of sobriety necessary to look at your file from an objective point of view and pretend you're trying to not approve the loan.
Right.
And look at all of your documents, get all your P's and Q's, dots, I's dotted, T's crossed, and then submit your reconsideration.
But we also understand the business owners aren't used to going through the process of getting a business loan. I mean, it's just, I think people just need to slow down, and I'm not trying to pontificate beyond, but I think even sometimes on the YouTube channel with some of our videos and the questions that we get, just the questions are like, can you be more specific? Like, you know, you have to just assume that these people aren't going to make.
Can you be more specific, folks, when you ask the question?
Yeah, because like the SBA, they're not going to take the time to give you more time to explain your own business.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's amazing right there. That's everything you need to know.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
I don't know. I'm going to have to rewind it. But anyway,
so,
all right, let's go.
Bijou, here's your answer to your question. Submit the driver's license by email to the reconsideration team. That's what I do. The portal.
Oh, God.
Folks, there's a reason I keep telling you, stop checking the portal. Lendo has just nailed it.
Another favorite.
By the way, Lendo Bijou, that is a rock and roll cool name. I love that name. This is the thing. The portal is a disaster all by itself.
Yeah.
I upload documents all the time, and I refresh the screen, and it says incorrect, incorrect. And I can promise you, folks, my documents are never incorrect, okay? And what I do is a redundancy backup. I email it in. It all goes to the same file, your EIDL application number, SBA disaster loan number, if you got one. That all goes to the same place.
I don't think it matters. Do you think? I think it's computer is better.
Gregory, never hand-filled.
Yeah.
Not ever.
Oh,
computer. Okay. It's a fillable form.
Yeah, that's true.
The IRS 4506T that the SBA will send you can download it from the SBA.gov website, is a fillable form.
I would never hand fill because my handwriting is so bad. It's too risky.
And Gregory, not Gregor, make sure you sign it with a pen.
You're welcome,
scan
Marimo.
it back in.
Awesome. Thank you for understanding.
Wait, Marimo appeared on the screen again. Oh, there she is. Hearts to you. Love to you too.
Thank you,
Marie.
Thank you for understanding where we're coming from with this. We're not trying to be like, you know, arrogant about it.
We're passionate.
We're trying to give you advice based on mistakes we've seen happen, not only because of SBA, but because business owners aren't helping themselves to help the SBA. And there was a rant I went on a few months ago where I said, you have to be better than the SBA.
All the time.
All the time. That this is your business.
It's the only way you get through it.
This is your livelihood. If you only have a part-time passion for your business, then you're going to get only part-time results from the work you put into.
That's another doozy. Hold on.
They're just like,
don't put Marie.
Dropping the
don't
bombs.
Put Marie away. Hold on. Marie's got comb over on here. Now, just to be all clear, there's a bald spot here. And I'm always telling Donna, who does my hair, do not ever comb over the bald spot. And that's how Donna came up with this crazy spiky thing, which honors my request. No comb overs.
All right.
Combers.
I don't.
Thank you, improved.
If I missed any of your, Jenny Combs, if I submit a requested document to my portal, how long should I wait? Oh gosh, I don't know. It's like,
don't contact them, Jenny, at all.
Yeah.
Do not contact. I submit documents and I just wait. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Do
not contact them. You're wasting your time and you're stressing yourself out. You're adding anxiety to the process.
I don't think we have any other questions.
Well, let's talk about Jenny's situation here. Jenny says, I submitted the documents for my one file.
Yeah.
How long should I wait before contacting them? So this beautiful gal is an insurance broker, and Linda, early days of our romance.
Oh, this is a good
shared
story.
a story with me. So we both worked in financial services and essentially sales. We both sold essentially money. She sold insurance, which in a way is money, and I sold money to buy houses, right? So, but we're salespeople, and so we're sitting talking about starting our careers.
Yeah,
and we may have been day drinking at the time.
This was like 20 years ago.
No, it was not. We were
not you and me. The story that you're about to launch
into. This is only 5 years ago. So she tells me this story, but when she started her career in financial services, she put in her first deal, and it was a life insurance. Was it life insurance or an annuity?
It was life. It was a life insurance. Are you going to tell it, or am I going to tell it? Let me tell it, okay?
Well,
Because it actually goes to when
goes to Jenny Combs right here.
I know, but I know I've pissed people off with stop focusing on some of the minutia that the SBA is putting everybody through and try to redirect your focus on stuff you can control in your business.
Yeah.
And magically, sometimes it really does. All of a sudden, something does happen. I've seen it happen with the SBA and with our clients. They stop what's that saying? Where attention goes,
Tell the
energy
damn
flows.
story there.
All right.
Kelly. Okay.
So 20 years ago, I'm starting my life insurance practice, and I get a client, my first client, one client, and I submit the application, and I'm like, how long is underwriting going to be? Why are they contacting me? What's the deal? How long does this take? What's the next thing they're might need so I can get it ready for them? All these questions. And my manager said, you know, if you had more than one file, you might not be so focused on what's happening with that one file because you're doing other things to get other business with other files and other clients than one file. I had only one file in underwriting. First of all, you cannot make a living off of one life insurance application in the system. It's so
Linda was hyper focused on the one file, zooming in on the one file, checking in with her manager every day, contacting her manager saying, hey, what's going on with my one file? Yeah. Until he sits her down and says, instead of focusing on the one, why don't you go out there and get some more business? It's a good thing I wasn't your manager, man. I have thrown more loan officers out of my office in the day. Get out of here. There's no money in the office. Go out there in the street. Go find some business. Jenny Combs and folks like you, all you can do with the SBA is be patient and persistent with the process.
And also improve 2021 where, her boyfriend is redesigning his business plan to account for economic uncertainty. Those are the kinds of things that you can control and that are positive for that when they come back, you're going to be ready to respond to them.
Can we go back to that 2202 question?
Yeah.
Please. Okay. Payroll and payroll taxes are not on your schedule liability, Rose Brown. No. Schedule liabilities is a debt that your business entity owes. If you have a business entity, Rose, if it's Rose Brown Incorporated or Rose Brown LLC, or Rose Brown doing business as ABC Corporation, and the entity has a business credit card, a commercial mortgage, a line of credit with the bank, an equipment loan, an SBA EIDL loan, a PPP loan that's not forgiven. These are business liabilities in the name of the entity. In other words, if the business credit item account does not appear on your personal credit report, it does not go on the schedule of liabilities. Please look at our EIDL reconsideration playlist. We have done videos.
We have a few videos on 2202. So
also, payroll, Rose, and payroll taxes are business expenses. They are not liabilities. Depending on where your business is at, Rose, in terms of revenue, y'all need to hire yourself a proper certified public accountant to answer those questions for you.
So we're still getting questions on the stamp tax return.
No. Next question.
Okay.
Asif, I'm sorry. You cannot submit listen, I know an SBA loan officer potentially has the discretion to ask you for it. You do not have permission to submit it on your own.
This is another favorite.
Okay? I'm not even going to answer this question.
Sorry, Claudice. I mean, we've talked about credit. If they're running your credit, it means they're working on your file. It's a good thing. Period.
They can run your credit, Claudice, 17,000 times if that's what it takes to get approved for the financing. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah. All right. So
this nonsense about people with inquiries. I used to get this when I was in the mortgage business. Trevor, I don't want you to run my credit. Well, really? You don't want me to run your credit? No. Why do you have to run my credit? I don't know. Now I just decided I don't want to lend you $400,000 to buy a house. How about that? Look how that works.
This is the other thing. People are listening to it.
The morons out there.
People think their credit report, their credit score is going to be devastated by an inquiry.
4 points.
Stop.
4 points.
Stop it.
4 points, folks. 4
And
points.
it's temporary.
And it's temporary, 60 to 90 days. And by the way, it's 4 points if your credit score is below 680. If your credit score is below 620, it's 8 points. How do I know this, you ask? I've read thousands of credit reports. I've seen the effects. Okay, next.
Well, this is Claudice's, she's coming back and saying that she's concerned because, and this is a valid concern.
Very valid concern.
Very
Claudice,
valid.
thank you for asking this question.
Yes.
This is an excellent question. So in the second stimulus, the Congress instructed the SBA, in the absence of a sufficient credit score, to look for other means to qualify the borrower for the EIDL program, including, if necessary, assessing the borrower's ability to repay. But as we discussed earlier in our show this evening on the conversation I had Friday with the loan officer, who was more like a U.S. Marine Corps drill sergeant, it's going to come down to the person working on your file. Here's the one thing I know about SBA. If you get declined, go back and ask for it again. They decline that, keep going. Keep going. You see, if the SBA was not as dysfunctional as it was, I would have a lot more respect for the declination letters. But because they're, and the reasons are like nuts, like some of the things that I'm told.
And I also want to Claudice, I want to say this. We did write a blog. If you go to our website, auroraconsulting.biz, or hold on, where is it? disasterloanconsulting.com. There's a tab that says Let's Blog. We wrote a blog on how to start drafting a quasi kind of business plan, revenue projection planning report that you can have at the ready. The thing is, with the EIDL, you want to demonstrate how you can have the ability to repay the loan.
And what are you doing?
Even though the deferral there's a deferral on repayments, and when payments start, it's deferred. You want to put together your argument, or, you know, your story, and your, you know, everything that could substantiate how this loan is going to get you out of the thing that is happening to you right now, because you don't have as much money that you're not making, and that's the economic injury. You have to put a
business plan together that says, give me the loan. This is what I'm going to do to save my business.
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to apply the revenue, the working capital, the things I'm going to do to build my business. You have to make a really good case, and you have to fight it, and don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct, T. Bowman. I don't know if it's 60 or 90 days, but certainly you should. When you say you submitted one on April 6th, I don't really know what that means. That's why we ask folks, when you ask questions here, please try to be very specific. Spend a couple extra minutes typing your questions so we can answer, because I don't know what that means. You submitted on April 6th and where you are right now. But you're correct in your first statement. 4506T's forms are only valid for a certain period of time. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do one more Gregory Miller, because
before we go to Gregory, just a little promotion, which is not really a promotion. It's a way of you saying thank you to us for our free advice. We do these free YouTube videos. We do our free 15-minute consultations as a way of giving you all accurate information presented with our passion, because we are passionate about you getting this money. And the experience we're sharing are real experiences, because what we do is not to get YouTube subscribers. What we do 7 days a week is actually work with small business owners like you to get your EIDL loans approved. We file original applications. We file reconsiderations. We follow through on increase requests. We do all of that. And I am a 30-year veteran loan officer, and I'm interacting with SBA and their loan officers on a daily basis.
Well, when you say a veteran loan officer, you mean that it's 30+ years working on government loans, including veteran loans.
Yeah, including veterans loans. Yes. FHA.
By the way, that's on the heels of you telling everyone to be specific when they ask questions.
Oh, no, you did.
Did you hear that, boss? Did you feel that, boss?
So,
super sticker.
We're giving you information that is based on that. All we ask you to do as a way of paying us for this a little bit is, but thank you, Justin, for the super sticker, is really, can you all go to our Google business page?
I put the link in the
comments.
And
write a review about our advice we're giving to you, because what happens is when you write a review, and you're specific, because specific is terrific, and you are specific about the advice we gave you, and if you found it helpful, then paying clients find us. And when paying clients find us, then we can come here and give free advice to you, or do our free 15-minute call.
The other thing I did too is
write a review, please.
I put in the comments a link to our other YouTube
Thank you, Justin.
channel. We finally got this channel up and running back in April and May. We're monetized now, which is why you can see Justin with the super sticker. We thank you for that contribution.
By the way, that what you're doing there is confusing the message, right?
What?
You want to
anyway,
have your
we have another YouTube
clearly
channel.
Defined and delineated.
Are you trying to throw me under the bus?
No, I'm doing it right in front of the whole audience here.
So we started.
And you're the media goddess. How do you not know this? Ow, she just poked me under the table.
So we started another channel called Simple Sense for Small Business. And the reason we started this channel was because we wanted business owners to have general information about running a business that we have seen be challenging for some business owners in the course of this whole SBA EIDL nonsense. We've seen some stuff. We've seen some stuff.
And we continue to see.
So we have this podcast style. So anyway, I'm just asking you guys to hang out with us over there and subscribe.
With Rose Brown a moment ago, and I recommended to you, Rose, depending on your revenue level, it may be time to hire a proper CPA. We did a podcast on our Simple Sense for Small Business channel about your tax professional. And I spoke with somebody today on one of our free phone calls who literally said the words, well, Trevor, I had a shady tax professional. I got rid of him. Now I'm getting a CPA. So, the people that you bring into your business, this is the kind of stuff we talk about on Simple Sense for Small Business. So,
who filed amended and still need to? No. Okay,
just Keith.
Yeah,
Go back when you have a chance to watch our replay. Look at our Wealth and Hellness section where I talk about the 4506T. This thing of stuck waiting on the IRS, in my estimation, is complete horse shit. The reason is because we've had multiple episodes in the last couple of weeks where the SBA has been able to get the tax transcripts on our client files, including an approval that our client signed the closing documents today for $216,600 because I filled out the 4506T and it was filled out correctly. And it is my contention, folks, that the reason the tax returns have come back, no record found, the transcripts, because the 4506 is wrong.
There's so much out there that you guys have to listen to
from us.
Well, no, but I'm talking about what we try. The information that we try to convey to you is information to help you move your loan through the system to get an approval, period. It's all about the practice of organizing your documents and filling out accurate information. But there's other news out there in the world that talks about these things that makes it seem like there's a different way to do something, or that there's some other problem,
or that the IRS is backed up. And by the way, the SBA is saying the same nonsense. The SBA is saying, well, the IRS is
coming to see you,
By
Michael.
the way, the IRS is backed up. But for all of you all to be being declined for this, our clients, folks, are not getting declined for tax transcripts.
Yes.
Except the one client, by the way, who was told, I'm not kidding, the agent said to him, oh, yeah, no, I see the 4506T that Trevor submitted, but we didn't use that one. We used ours.
Yeah.
Which was wrong. And guess what happened? His transcripts came back, no record found. That's why, whether it's somebody on Reddit or the IRS or the SBA saying it, the IRS is backed up. It's not. It's not. The IRS is backed up, but that's not why this is happening. It's happening because of wrong 4506Ts. That's the main reason.
There's a lot of things we say that people don't want to hear. And, listen, are we wrong sometimes? I'm sure. But
are we though?
But we've had too many successes with approvals.
Over $7 million in the last 7 weeks.
And we've seen the mistakes that delay the approval, to have that as further evidence, real evidence of things that could be done better by the SBA, but also by you. And so we just try to get, you know, we're kind of, what's that, where we're against the rub, where we tell you it's brutal truth, tough love. Like, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but we just want you to have success. But
we want you to get your money. We know how you can get your money. Please listen to us.
Yeah.
The other folks are just trying to scare the hell out of you and get clickbait.
Or share news that isn't real yet. So that's not going to help you either.
Like another legislation package that.
Oh, yeah.
That is not.
All right.
Passed.
Let's end on a happy note. Okay. Let's head on a happy note.
Put on a happy face.
Yeah. Okay. So Chris.
Chris Squires.
All right. That's all the note we need to end on. Thank you, Chris, for that.
You know, Chris I think you were the one who's, oh my gosh, your son is adorable. Is that your son? Is that, no, it's your daughter. I'm sorry, Chris. It's a big screen TV, but I'm old and my, hello. Sorry about that, Chris. Chris, did you tell me on the phone today that you found us on Reddit? Because, the marketing goddess over here has an inquiring mind. She wants to know.
All right. So one of the things, hold on. Susan is asking me, I think for the, are you asking me for the Google review link? Because I did post it in the comments. I just posted it right now. So here's Claudice, who says his name first. Oh.
There you go. Claudice, I'm in love with you right now. Please tell your husband that I want to take you out dancing tonight. Okay. Because I'm telling you, Claudice, mwah, mwah, mwah. That is exactly what I mean, folks. The SBA is telling this gal, this small business owner who desperately needs the money, how to fill out the form incorrectly.
Yeah.
Again, 4506T, your tax return, 4506T, side by side. Copy exactly from the tax return onto the 4506T.
I think we did the video. There's a video in our uploads, because we have the lives, and then we have uploads. I think the thumbnail says crush these mistakes. I think that's the one where we're talking about side by side.
You used a cool word like crush to describe one of our videos.
Yes.
I think I'm in love with you more than Claudice now.
That's the extent.
Claudice, I'm sorry. But,
no, by the way, that's the extent of our sensationalism.
I feel so up to date
of this channel. There is no sensationalism other than maybe a little fun I have with our thumbnails. That's it.
All right, let's wind it down. Let's do a lightning round of questions and answers. Let's see what we got. So, folks, ask a question, be very specific, and be detailed. Don't give us vague answers because we won't answer them. Okay, can you still help him? My status is waiting for loan officer. I'm totally so T. Bowman, generally what we sell, folks, if you want to book a free phone call with us, we will not accept a phone call if your increase request is in process at the moment, because the SBA is just backlogged on those, and you don't want to waste your precious 15-minute call with me just for me to tell you got to wait. You want to save the call. We don't hope you never need it. We hope you don't need to call us if you're declined. But if you're declined, that's when you book the call.
I love this Keith Grogan who says this. I'll look back at your older videos. Listen. I don't want to.
You're talking about from 1983?
No, I don't want to.
I did a seminar in 1983. It's on video.
Okay, I don't want to hurt myself patting ourselves on the back with some of our info that we talked about last October or December or even April, where it's like shit's happening, man. It's like still happening. We would talk about stuff that's happening on client files, like unverifiable information. And here we are.
Still talking about it.
So, all right.
You're welcome, Keith.
So there you go, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm heading over to the Writer Sanctuary. Writer Sanctuary.
That was easy for you to say.
Channel to visit my friend Michael, who's going live, and just.
I'm going to shut the hell up for the rest of the night. I've been on the phone talking to folks all day today. I got some more calls tomorrow. We thank you so much for following us here and for understanding that we are passionate about your success.
Yeah.
And we don't want to come off sounding arrogant and but please don't mistake our passion for negative aspect. The fact is, if you are patient and persistent with the EIDL process, you will
Yeah.
be successful.
But I think also assuming the responsibility of the chance that you might have contributed to a declination or to a file having some challenges or delays or declinations is highly probable, that there is a possibility that you have contributed. And that all we're asking for you is to just slow down, read everything in its entirety. You have no idea the stuff that we do to help prepare, that then they don't read it. And that's us. And we're on your side. So there you go.
I'm not really sure what it means, but it looks good. Manja. I don't know. By the way, I made a bolognese sauce yesterday. Boom. It was pretty awesome. She didn't eat it because she's on a diet, but I had it with a nice bowl of pasta.
Really?
And
did you seriously just say that out loud? Okay. When you're in your mid-50s, like, you're always on a diet. It's one of the reasons why women have to do contouring.
All I'm saying is you missed out on some killer bolognese yesterday. I did it with a nice Colavita giant pasta, ziti pasta. It was like really cool.
All right, we're out of here. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.
Good night, folks.
Stay
Thanks
strong,
for tuning in.
Stay well.